Hey, besties. I am on here for 30 minutes max because I have to go to work. And I don't have a topic for today. So I'll give y'all a second if you're in the chat. If you have a question or a suggestion of something you want me to talk about, I am open. Otherwise, I might just pull cards or I might just do a personal share. I don't know. I literally have no plan. Nothing was glaringly obvious to me and I couldn't decide. So I am open to suggestions. And if not, I have a little something I can share about, I suppose. And I can also pull cards, like a collective pull or something like that. So I'm open, but I want to say hello. Hi, Lolin. I think it's Lolin. Welcome. That's a new name, new face. Good to see you here. And hello, Missa. Good to see you again. I hope you're having a wonderful week. If we haven't already met, it is me, Mix Mercury, the Astro Himbo, and back for another daily live, getting back into the routine for this last, 8 days? 9 days of the month of this daily live series before I switch and do something else with this channel. We'll see. But yeah, it is Monday. I am still crowdfunding. I am still tired and wanting to get back into a regular routine with the rest of my life, but we'll see. So yeah, if nobody has any suggestions, I'm going to shuffle and just see what comes out. Maybe I'll do 2 or 3 cards. This time I usually just do 2 cards and extrapolate off of that, but maybe I'll do 3 or even 4 of a past. Actually, let's do that. That sounds like a nice challenge. I'll do a 3 card spread with one on the bottom and just see kind of a past, present, future, or situation, obstacle, solution type deal, whatever seems applicable. And this will apply to all of us. Maybe it's for the week, maybe it's for today. I'll just see what comes out intuitively as I shuffle. So thanks for being here. Okay, so to my elevated and healed ancestors and spirits that are in alignment and in service of mine and my viewers' highest good, whoever is watching this channel, I would love to know, to just get some insight on the current times on this week. What is something we need to know or that we're trying to overcome? And how can we go about doing that? Just give us some nice wisdom, some insight for the week. Welcome in, new viewers. I see you popping in. Just doing a general card pull because I don't know what to talk about, and maybe these will give me something to talk about. I'm using the This Might Hurt Tarot deck by Isabella Rotman, as usual. Just asking for some general wisdom and guidance from spirits, from the ancestors, who have our highest good in mind. If you are in the chat or just viewing, oops, I would love it if you liked the video. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I do tarot, I do astro. I mostly do astro. I'm an astrologer, astrotherapist, if you will. Relationship coaching and psychology, sociology, politics, just a little bit of everything. Jack of all trades. All right. All right. Let's see here. All right. First card. We have the World. The World. We have Page of Swords in the same color scheme. Love when that happens. And our final card, same color scheme again, Ace of Swords. I love when that happens. It just feels like these are all telling the same story and they are all on the same page. And our card on the bottom, also in the same color scheme, is the Three of Cups. Very cute, very cute. So if I can hold all of these up together just so y'all can see. So Three of Swords is our context. And then maybe I'll put these on the left hand like this. So this is what we've got with this as our context. Look at that. Look at that color profile. Isn't that cute? So these are definitely this is definitely our message for today. Oh, I haven't done like a three card spread for you guys yet, so this is kind of interesting. Let's go through each card just to chat. So our context. Well, do I want to start with context? Let's start with the context. So, what we are talking about today is Three of Cups. So, you notice here we have three besties. They are celebrating, they are dancing, they are in this little pumpkin patch, which is good timing for the year. They all have their cups in celebration. They are cheersing, they're dancing, they're having a good time. They are in collaboration, in relationship with each other. Immediately thinking about Venus and Scorpio right now. Excuse me, Venus and Scorpio right now, and its relationship to Mars and Cancer. Mars and Cancer is the ruler of Venus and Scorpio in real time in sidereal astro. And Venus and Scorpio having to do with the ways that we connect emotionally, the ways that we connect via our differences or the things that make us unique, the things that we maybe feel too ashamed to speak about with other people, but that we all feel. So, something about maybe feeling similarly to other people around us, something about coming together, something about being in relationship with one another, and hmm. What's also interesting, just notice this, is this person over here, if you notice her hand is like holding up this paper with an eye on the back. And I don't know if that's like, is that just her hand or is she holding that paper up and like the symbolism of the eye? I wonder what that's about. Hmm. So I'm going to refer to the book as well just to see if there's anything else about this Three of Cups that we need to know or that stands out to me. The Party with Friends card. This is a pure and powerful love card for you and your friends. Close relationships are precious. And if this card comes up for you in a reading, it is time to be with your squad. Most often, the Three of Cups is telling you to party with your crew. This card can signify an accomplishment within your group or by someone close to you that deserves to be celebrated. Alternatively, it could just be a push to celebrate the friendships themselves. Just having people who truly care about each other is something worth dancing about. Sometimes this card may come to you in a time of strife, and in these cases, think of your friends. If you turn to them now, you will likely find the compassion and support you're looking for. It may be the case that you have been neglecting your friendships, either due to a romantic relationship or life stressors. So cut it out. Your pals are important and you should appreciate them. Um, Something else I was thinking about, not so much from the book, but just as I was reading with Three of Cups. I'll use myself as an example because I do have Venus and Scorpio natally. Is that I have been dealing with some shame or some personal disappointment or self-deprecation issues around like how much I've been working and how much I've been just trying to stay afloat basically and haven't had much time to devote to my actual friendships. because money feels more important, like basic survival needs and stuff like that feels more urgent and more important. And so I haven't really been in relationship with people as much as I would like to be, and feeling kind of bad about that because I do love my friends. I do care about my friends. And it sucks to be in a situation where I am sort of neglecting my friendships in service of trying to get the bag. So that kind of comes to mind for me personally. I don't know if that resonates with anyone else in this tough time in the economy. So let's talk about the world. The world, this card, I don't know if YouTube's going to censor us because she's got her boobies out, but it's just a body. YouTube, don't be weird. We have the big Ouroboros snake eating its tail situation representing a cycle, and then we have one of each element between the pentacles, the wands, the cups, and the swords, or the swords. So using all of our tools, our resources, our elements, but also the world represents like the completion or the end of some kind of a cycle, and therefore the beginning of a new cycle or a new way of being. So with this at the beginning of the spread says something to me about how we are moving out of a way of being and probably into something new. The something new that we're moving into, in my opinion, in this case would be Page of Swords. So Page of Swords, we've just got this person who kind of seems uncertain or kind of seems like they're wondering, out in the middle of a field, kind of a cloudy day. Birds are flying in a group above head, and not necessarily in like a threatening stance, but kind of just in a stance. I know Page of Swords is usually someone who is searching in some kind of a way, seeking new information, looking around, contemplating, but usually wanting to learn something new or try something new or think outside of the box. So this, in combination with the previous card, is making me think about the square between Jupiter and Taurus and Saturn in Aquarius. This one kind of being more Saturn in Aquarius. And I say that because of the final card here as our solution or path forward, Ace of Swords. This is literally like a new, like embracing a new idea or a new way of thinking, or um, moving forward with an opportunity in the, maybe in the intellectual sense, or having conversations, speaking the truth, being honest, being straightforward, cutting through the bullshit, essentially. So what do all of these cards have to say about what we said for Three of Cups as the context being our friendships, our relationships, the ways that we connect with other people? And if this card is representing Venus and Scorpio for this particular conversation, then what's interesting would be if, Venus is in Scorpio, but then Venus is ruling Jupiter in Taurus. And Jupiter in Taurus kind of feels like this card. Um, Jupiter in Taurus, Jupiter in Taurus has kind of been the structures that already exist, the expectations and the systems that already exist, and the ways that we are expected to move through those systems, the ways that we are expected to relate to one another, the culture that we exist in and our social norms and things like that, are changing, I think, whether we realize it or not. And maybe that's kind of hard to see right now. Like maybe that is something that is hard to see because it's so ingrained in us, the way that we are maybe told that we're supposed to relate to one another. Um, if I go back to like using myself as an example, it feels a lot like, I'm definitely self alienating right now because I feel like a failure. To be honest, I feel like all of the things I was supposed to be doing with my life and all of the things like where I'm supposed to be by now with my life compared to some of my other friends who went the more traditional route, like I feel like I haven't caught up. I've decided to go this alternative route, and because of that, it's kind of put me in a position where, when I say alternative route, like I mean like trying to be an entrepreneur, trying to run a business using divination tools like astrology and, tarot and social media, um, and making friends with people online, getting to know people online for like years now. This is my fourth year of doing all of this, and how it's not yielding like the material results that I would like to see, going back to Jupiter and Taurus. Like I can't necessarily see the fruits of my labor in a lot of ways because I'm still in debt. I've had to take on debt in order to get another certification. I've had to change the amounts that I charge, dealing with business expenses and things like that, right? So it's like I'm trying to do the thing within the expectation of the world as it is right now, and rather than let me set this down and just speak from experience first. Rather than do maybe what was expected of me in terms of go to school, um, as in college, get a degree, and then for my particular field, getting a degree in psychology and sociology, the next logical step would have been to um, go to grad school and then get a master's or a PhD or whatever, and then become a practicing clinical therapist or a psychologist or social worker or psychiatrist or whatever, something in the more institutional sense. And I didn't do that. Instead, I decided to carve out my own path and do the different thing that is more self determined. Yes, like something that has required me to continue learning and to continue seeking new information and to try new things and really deal with a lot of uncertainty in life. And even though it hasn't given the benefits, of like literally having benefits in terms of like the insurance benefits and dental benefits and a 401k and like all of these more traditional measures of success and security, it has opened me up to new ways of thinking. It has opened me up to new ways of seeing the world and interacting with people and my relationships. Like the way that I engage with my relationships and the people I'm in community with has changed because I've chosen this non traditional route. So there is something to be said for breaking out of the mold and how that opens you up to a different reality. But in the process of opening myself up to a different reality, um, I've opened myself up to a lot more uncertainty in financial and the material security sense. However, it has been in alignment with my truth and my convictions. It has also allowed me to speak the truth and to not have to censor myself and to not have to hide how I really feel or think about things, even though the impulse is still there to do that. It has allowed me to um, come on a platform like this and just speak my mind and not have to worry about my boss finding it or higher ups finding it and then saying like, hey, you represent this company, you can't say that type of stuff. It has allowed me to still speak on what I believe is the truth and to find people who are also like-minded in those truths, even if they are technically controversial or unpopular, or if they go against the traditional grain that we spoke about before. So, um, just to reset the room real quick to say hello to everyone who's joined. Hi, Kalia. Hey, Jim. Yes, one of my favorite decks. Hey, Sherry. Hey, is it Mandy? Please let me know like what name to call you because I just call you Thickamus Prime because I know that's your name on Twitter, but I want to make sure I address you correctly. And hello, Samaje. So, for those who just joined, I'm just doing a general poll because I didn't know what to talk about today. And this is maybe it's for me, maybe it's for the collective. If it resonates, then great. But the card we got on the bottom was the Three of Cups, and all of our cards are in the same color scheme today. But card on the bottom was Three of Cups, and then cards on the top were the World, Page of Swords, and Ace of Swords. So it's a little bit of maybe a past, present, future situation, obstacle, and solution type thing. I don't know. But I was speaking about it as this kind of making me think about Venus and Scorpio right now and just the ways that we are in relationship or struggling to be in relationship with one another. The world was kind of representing Jupiter in Taurus, freshly retrograde, and square Saturn in Aquarius, and how the way that we've understood the world previously is changing right before our eyes, even if we don't realize it. And we are moving into a new way of thinking, especially in a new way of being, and how that creates a lot of uncertainty, and how it also like encourages us to learn about ourselves and the world around us in a way that is unfamiliar and that we haven't done before, and that can sometimes make it hard for us to see ourselves or see our future, and also bring up a lot of shame by doing the different thing and wondering if it's even worth it and if it'll even yield the results that we want. And then the Ace of Swords as kind of saying, like, we have to be real with ourselves and to continue to speak our truth and continue to acknowledge things as they are and speak about it, even if, like, especially if we're in the position where we have chosen an alternative route that is not, within like corporate settings or other like highly visible settings, political settings, or whatever, where maybe we would have to self silence or self censor. That going in this other direction, towards liberation, if you will, allows us to see and speak the truth a little bit more than what we've done before, which can then, like I said about Venus and Scorpio, speaking the truth even when it's uncomfortable, allows us to become visible to other people who otherwise might not have seen us, and also allows us to see ourselves and other people's distress differently, and maybe come together based on those things instead of coming together based on like this facade that we all are okay in capitalism, we all have it together, we're all, you know, that this facade that we're all doing okay and things are fine when things are very much not fine. That's also making me think about the push back to normal thing that we've been dealing with ever since the pandemic, where we had an opportunity with the beginning of the pandemic to actually like change the world. And in fact, again, the world did change. I'm thinking about the Jupiter Saturn conjunction in Capricorn that we had back then, end of 2020, where like we were, whether our material circumstances necessarily changed or not, like we were all changed emotionally during that time. We were all changed um, cognitively during that time. And in fact, we're still carrying a lot of the trauma from that experience, whether people want to admit that or not. People's visceral reactions to seeing other people still wearing a mask and wondering why. People talking about how the economy used to be better, earlier in the pandemic and even during the pandemic because of all the benefits that we were getting. Um, People's disposition towards public health and healthcare has changed. So it's like whether we're actually speaking on these things or not, like the change has happened. So it's like either we ignore the change or we continue to point it out, and we continue to talk about these things until people come to a point of acceptance with where we're at. Like we can continue to just ignore how all of us feels on the inside, or we can have the conversation, or we can speak about maybe the shame that we're feeling about not doing as well as we think we should be doing, like I was saying about myself. Like there's something to be said for just naming the fact that like it also, based on what we were promised, based on what we were told, um, by the institution, by the system of power, that if you just follow XYZ steps, then, you're guaranteed to have some kind of life of safety and comfort, but neglecting the fact that if you deviate, neglecting to mention that if you deviate to any extent, even after following the rules, so to speak, that that's going to interfere with your safety. And that, even if I'm using myself as an example again, even though I went to school to um learn about like a liberal arts school to learn about psychology and sociology especially, which perfectly articulated, the consumerism spectacle aspects of living in the US and how a lot of this is really just in service of entertainment and nothing else, at the end of the day to continue to allow certain people to get richer. It's like I learned all of that. I learned all of that in the institution. I learned all of that and, got the degree with honors. I did all of the things, but then if I were to carry those things out into the world with me, then I'm met with a lot of resistance. It's like we can talk about it, but then to actually like turn it into praxis and to actually like allow it to change the world, um, running into a lot of issues with that because a lot of people don't want to change and a lot of people believe that it's not in their best interest to change. So then we just get stuck again in this cycle, in this loop, like I talked about with the snake eating its own tail situation in this card, like getting stuck in this endless loop of not believing we're good enough or like-minded enough or in close enough communal relationship to actually change anything. you know Last thing I'll kind of say about this is I was watching some of the mountain bikers that I watch on YouTube who live in North Carolina in Asheville. He's been living in a van most of his life and then he finally gets a house in Asheville, not in like the thick of the issues, but kind of around the city. And he, was dealing with all of the damage from the hurricane. And he's talking about how, his community, like literally the people in his neighborhood, um, just being so willing to help and how everybody gets so creative and how everybody just wants to pay it forward once they receive the help that they need. Then they just want to pay it forward and help other people who had the situation be worse off. And I've heard a lot of people kind of say this about like disasters, um, especially like big, large natural disasters or even like war, what a lot of people are dealing with in the Middle East. Like when you have nothing, like when you don't have entertainment, you don't have internet, you don't have all of the excess of goods and services and other people's labor to distract you from like the reality of your situation. People have a way of coming together and helping each other out because you are confronted with like this cold harsh truth of your circumstances. Whereas I think because especially in the US so many of us are in different class positions and in different class positions because of different individual circumstances, like it's hard to come together and to see like a shared reality or shared threat to our existence or shared struggle or something like that. Because there are so many different types of struggles, there are so many different isms, there are so many different experiences of lack and scarcity that people are having from different causes. When at the end of the day, it's all the same cause. It's all capitalism, it's all whiteness, it's all patriarchy, it's all colonialism, it's all imperialism. But again, if we were to try and name those systems while trying to work within the system, um, that's also a threat to our survival. So it kind of says a lot that we can't even speak honestly about the situation that we're in. So, hey, Jada. So, yeah, let me see what y'all are saying. Missa says, our authenticity is helping us to find and celebrate each other, even as we have to navigate this material reality. Yes, absolutely. I love that as like a succinct summary of what we've been talking about. We have to be authentic at the end of the day in order to see ourselves and see each other and to be in celebration of that authenticity as we navigate material reality. I love that. Thank you. Sherry says, wow, I resonate so much with this, and I am so much happier being an astrologer than any other job I've ever had. And that's the thing, too. Like, sometimes when I really do get down on myself and I haven't had a reading in a while, and then someone comes in to do a reading with me, especially one that allows me to use astrology and coaching and what I've learned in school, it's like so satisfying to do this thing that I haven't experienced someone else do before, that I haven't witnessed somebody else do before. And that's like a brief moment where it's like I get to experience the evidence of everything that I've learned, and the outcome of everything that I learned actually impacts somebody else. Um, but when I'm not doing that, it just feels like I'm not doing enough or I failed in some kind of a way when that's not actually true. And at the end of the day, too, like you said, even if it doesn't yield all of the capitalistic gains that we're taught that we're taught makes somebody successful, it's still impactful, it's still relevant, it's still powerful work. And, I don't necessarily need to be the richest, wealthiest person in order to find joy and pleasure and happiness in this work. Like, astrology is so much fun too. Like, it's great mental exercise as well, and people really benefit from it. So there's just so much that we can gain from these alternative routes of success that I think, like I said, we are leaning into it more. It's just hard to stick with it sometimes because the benefit of doing that isn't immediately seen or recognized, I guess. But I guess the point of this spread really is that it is seen and recognized in our relationships if we are willing to um, see it more as a relational choice rather than a material success choice. Something like that. Um, The Three of Cups is interesting. I'm looking forward to these COVID safer events at the end of this month. Oh, I love that. I love that you're finding some COVID safer events in your area. I also need to look into some of those personally. I've just noticed I'm also scared. I've been dealing with a lot of fear lately, just in general, a lot of fear around connection. And I guess it's just a testament to having my Venus return and that I need to, yes, be with my fear about it, but I also need to I have to overcome it through practice, which is maybe again speaking to the spread of like the old way of seeing relationships even needs to change with new information. And rather than expecting the same outcomes that I've always experienced, that things can actually be different. But I have to be willing to go for it. So I'm going to look at the book for anything else about the Ace of Swords that I can maybe add or that I might have missed. And then that'll be it. Please go outside. Be sweet to me. Um Ace of Swords. I'll just read this and then everyone take from it what you need. Ace of Swords, cut through the bullshit. I'll hold it up too as I'm speaking. Aces represent beginnings and the essence of the suit. Swords are intellect. The Ace of Swords is honest perception. Most of the other swords in tarot are held at an angle to suggest that logic tempered by flexibility or motion. Oh, to suggest logic tempered by flexibility or emotion, but not here. The sword is held straight up and down, whether you like it or not. The Ace of Swords is truth. At its best, the Ace of Swords is when you know you're right, and sometimes this comes as an innate flash of knowledge. Sometimes it comes through research. Notice the dark clouds surrounding the sword without obstructing it. Assumptions and feelings do not factor in. And in fact, and in fact, this is a card for setting aside how you feel about an issue in favor of objectively recognizing what is actually happening. This isn't intuition, it's knowledge. If the Ace of Swords comes for you at a time when you aren't feeling this unbridled confidence in your judgment, then it's time to cut through the conflicting feelings. The Ace of Swords is a double edged truth. Most likely, the truth that you need to discover is about yourself. So, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to leave that there. Um, Interesting reading. Again, I don't know if that was for today or if that was for the week or if that was just a general message to carry with you as you move through life. But if it resonated, I would love for you to like this video again and subscribe to my channel to continue going on my tarot astro journey with me to continue developing this tool. Again, love that all of these cards were in the same color scheme. I just think that's very cute. Very cute to me. All right, that's all. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope this message serves you in the long run, in the short run, um, and as you move through life. And I hope to see you again here tomorrow. See y'all later. Thank you. Bye.